Dhamma Sarana. Thanks for tuning in to this week's Sunday School live streaming session. I'm Thilini Teacher and it's my privilege to be the moderator. I hope everyone is well and safe at home. Again, so many students are participating today. It's great to see that you're all keeping up the good habit of setting aside some time on a Sunday for learning Buddhism. Today's topics will be the 3 roots of evil, Lobha, Dosa, Moha, and the Thilamutti Jataka, with an important message about taking feedback. On today's panel, we have Venerable Shanta Vimalathero and a special guest, one of our very own students, Nirasha Kumara Peruma. Thank you to our presenters for your dedication. Just to remember that these presentations, while designed for our older students, can be very useful for all ages. Make sure everyone has a pen and paper to jot down your questions and to take any notes. As usual, your questions will be addressed at the Q&A session at the end of the program. On Microsoft Teams, remember to click on the question mark at the top of the screen to type your question into the box. And for our viewers on YouTube, just post your question in the chat. You did a really good job of posting only relevant questions in the chat last time, so keep that up. You can post questions at any time, and time permitting, we'll answer as many as possible. Okay, let's make a start. May I respectfully invite Venerable Shanta Vimalathero to administer the 5 precepts and then guide us all in a brief meditation session. Can I please have all of our students sitting nicely, relaxed, and hands together, please, nice and ready. Avasarai Swamin Vahanse.
Good afternoon, children. Please say Namo Tassa 3 times in order to observe 5 precepts. Repeat after me. Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Sanghang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Sarana gamanang sampunnang. Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Adinnadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Kāmesu micchāchārā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musāvādā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Surameraya majjapama dattana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Tisaranena saddhiṃ pañcasīlaṃ dhammaṃ sādukam surakkhitam kattvā appamādena sampādetabbhaṃ. Very well done, children. Let's practice short guided meditation for a while. The main purpose of practicing meditation is to bring or develop inner peace and also calm down our mind. Before starting our usual lessons, it is good and it is appropriate to practice meditation, right? When we practice meditation, it helps us to calm down our mind. That calmness of our mind will definitely help you to remember things that we are going to talk about later on. So please find a place or find a chair or find the comfortable position or seat to sit down and to practice meditation for a while. Wherever you are, try to relax yourself first and try to calm down all the senses and try to relax all the body muscles. And now slowly try to close your eyes, gently close your eyes. As usual, we are going to practice breathe in and breathe out meditation, Anapanasati Bhavana, for a short while, followed by loving kindness meditation. So now keep your back straight and try to close your eyes gently. And try to bring your attention to the process of breathe in and breathe out. Let it happen automatically. It is the process that occurs automatically in our body. What you need to do is that you need to bring your attention to your breathe in and breathe out process. So try to think, try to pay attention on breathe in and breathe out. When you breathe in, try to bring your attention thinking that I am breathe in. When you breathe out, try to bring your attention thinking that you are breathing out. And when you take short breath in, try to bring your attention thinking that I am taking a short breath in. And when you take in deep breath, try to bring your attention thinking that I am taking a deep breath. And when you breathe out, try to bring your attention thinking that I am breathing out. When you breathe long or deep breath out and think that I am taking a long breath out. In this way, try to spend some minutes focusing on your breath. Try to forget all the things, all the sounds, all the noises, or any kind of other things which are happening around you. Do not bother of them. Do not try to focus your attention towards those sounds. Just try to bring your attention on your breath. Try to be with your breath. Try to be friendly with your breath. Try to be close to your breath and try to be very good friend to your breath. In this way, keep focusing and keep contemplating on breath for a short time. And then you will feel the calmness of your mind and calmness and relaxation of your body. That calmness, that one-pointedness, that mindfulness may help you to develop inner peace. With that one-pointed mind, with that mindfulness, With that calm mind, let's spread loving kindness towards all sentient beings. Especially nowadays, all the beings in this world, they are experiencing some uncomfortable or dangerous situation. It's because we all have affected by COVID-19 virus. Due to this virus, lots of innocent people throughout the world are dying. Let's spread our kindness and love towards them, all the sentient beings. Let's start our kindness and our love, our compassion from our family. Think about in this way. May my mother, may my father be well and happy. May they both gain good health and good luck. May my brothers and sisters be well and happy. May they all gain good health and protection and happiness. May my friends, may my relatives be well and happy. May all of them be able to gain good health, good luck, protection, happiness. May all sentient beings in this world, those who are near to you, those who are not near to you, those who are visible to you, those who are invisible to you, be well and happy. May they be protected. May they be well and happy. May all sentient beings be free from all kind of sicknesses. May all sentient beings be free from any kind of danger. May all sentient beings be able to find peaceful life, peaceful situation, peaceful environment living. Finally, may all sentient beings be able to achieve a bliss of Nibbana. Sabbe sattha bhavantu sukhitattha. Now slowly open your eyes. Thank you very much. Over to you, Tilini teacher.
Thank you, Hamudurune. Venerable Shanta Vimalathero is also our first speaker of the session and will be giving us all a valuable lesson in the analysis of our motives behind the way we think, speak and act. This in turn will help us to guide our lives in the most wholesome way possible. Avasarai Swamin Vahanse.
Thank you, Tilini teacher, and all the members of our Sundays, the panel, members of the panel. So I'm very happy to be with you today. After some time, I am able to come back to you again, and I had conducted few lessons previously, and we had some short break, and after the break, this is the first opportunity that I get to talk to you, to meet you today. So as usual, children, I'm going to teach you very beautiful, very important, one of the important and one of the useful, beautiful teachings of the Lord Buddha. And you may have learned and you may have studied these subjects or this topic before. Doesn't matter. You can spend your time to learn again, and also you can remember, you can revise these lessons again after listening to my talk. So as usual, my dear children, my presentation is solely or completely based on the slides. It may help you to go through the slides with me, and it will help you to understand very well. When I talk, sometime you may not, if you can't follow with my pronunciation or with my tones, so it will, the slides or PowerPoint will help you to read them, right? So it is very important. So without further ado, let's begin my presentation. Now you can see on the screen is the first slide of my presentation. You all know that my name is Reverend Shanta Vimal, and you all know me very well, right? So we are going to talk about today unwholesome roots. When you speak about unwholesome roots, maybe we are going to talk about negative things, right? Because what is the opposite of unwholesome? That is called wholesome, right? But today we are going to talk about unwholesome, unpleasant things, like let's say, like not actually not wholesome. They are unwholesome, and they are called in Pali akusala mula. Mula means roots, right? Akusala means unwholesome. So we are going to talk about unwholesome roots, right? Where can you find roots? Where do you usually find roots? The trees, right? Trees got roots. Without roots, can tree grow well? It's impossible. The tree is mainly based on the power, strength of roots. So these roots also very important. These three roots, I mean not the akusala, I mean the kusala. The wholesome roots are very important for the development of our wholesome life, spiritual life. So what is the first one we are going to talk about? Lobha, greed, desire, right? The next one we are going to talk about dvesa, moha, and the third one is the first one is greed, the second one is hatred, and the third one is moha, delusion. So that is a topic, that is the thing that we are going to talk about today. So now in my introduction, can you see that? Yes, you can. In the Buddhist teachings, the greed, hatred, and delusion are known for good reason as three poisons, three unwholesome roots, and the three fires. These metaphors suggest how dangerous afflictive thoughts and emotions can be if they are not understood or eradicated. So, in this explanation, it gives us very clear picture about these unwholesome things. Why are they called poison? Three poisons. Why do we call poison for hatred? Why do we call poison for greed? Why do we call poison for moha? Why? What happens if you take poison? What does the job of poison? What does poison do? If you take poison, what will happen? Definitely you may die, right? If you take poison, poison may kill you, right? That's why sometimes I see some people spread poison on grass. What happened? When you spread poison on grass, the grass automatically die. So when you have three poisons like lobha, dvesa, and moha, greed, desire, hatred, and moha, delusion, these three unwholesome roots are called poison because of these three poisons, people usually die physically and mentally. Because of these unwholesome roots, people suffer a lot physically and mentally. Even they may lose their life. For example, if you have too much anger, what anger creates? Conflicts, right? So later on we can talk more about. So that's why they are called poison. and they are called unwholesome roots. These three unwholesome states of minds emerge or originate in our mind. So whenever you have these unwholesome roots, the actions or production that you create or produce also unwholesome. That's why they are called unwholesome roots, right? So these unwholesome roots always create negative result, negative impact of our life. And they are called three fires. Why are they called three fires? Because these great hatred and delusion always burn in our life. These three roots usually burn our positive, or otherwise we say wholesome thoughts of our mind. Always help us to create negative, unwholesome state of mind. Therefore, they are called three fires, right? They burn. Our wholesome thoughts, our wholesome actions may burn due to these three fires. That's why the Lord Buddha said they are very dangerous and they are very unwholesome if you do not really understand, or if you do not really eradicate them permanently, right? So sometimes these are called three afflictions. These are said to be three negative emotions that cause us the most suffering. They are the ones that prevent us from realizing our enlightened true nature. So the Lord Buddha said that those people who have these unwholesome roots, those people will never be able to attain or realize the bliss of Nibbana. So Nibbana will be blocked, or Nibbana will be postponed due to these unwholesome roots, Lobha, Dosa, Moha. That's why Buddha clearly emphasized, clearly taught the people to eradicate these three unwholesome roots in order to realize the true nature of Nibbana. They are usually called greed, hatred, delusion. So those are the English term for this Lobha, Dosa, Moha. The three poisons are caused by ignorance of our true nature and ignorance of our right understanding. So what is the cause of this greed, hatred, and delusion? The first is ignorance, avidya. Because of ignorance, because not having proper understanding about the true nature of the things, and the true nature of the things, the people create these unwholesome roots, right? Lobha, Dosa, Moha. Based on ignorance, these poisons motivate us to make mistakes and act in a way that are outside of our own interest and cause harm to ourselves and others. So because of these unwholesome roots, people create lots of harmful activities, harmful actions for themselves and also for the societies. Many of our actions are tainted by these three poisons. Yeah. Usually the unwholesome actions or unwholesome activities are originated by these three unwholesome by these three poisons. They exist with us as lust, craving, anger, jealousy, confusions. These poisons can ruin us. These three classes drive beings a seemingly endless round of rebirth and death. So people who has these unwholesome roots, Lobha, Dosa, Moha, those people may continue becoming and also disappearing of this world many lives to come. That means they had to come to this world, they had to spend some time in this world, and they had to depart from this world until one day they eradicate these unwholesome roots permanently. That is called Nibbana. So the Buddha described these defilements as bonds, fetters, hindrances, and knots. Actually, the actual root cause of unwholesome karma and the entire spectrum of human suffering. So the Lord Buddha said that these are hindrances for people to develop their spiritual journey. So if you want to have a successful spiritual journey, what you need to do is you need to completely eradicate these greed, hatred, and delusion. Then you can experience the bliss of Nibbana. Let's talk about a little bit about these three things. The greed is our selfishness, right? Our desire, attachment, and yearning for happiness and satisfaction for external sources. It is our impulse to always want more. We want the objects of our desire regardless of what those are, to bring us permanent satisfactions so we can feel complete. What do you mean by desire? What do you mean by strong attachment? People try to look for permanent happiness by acquiring or by achieving a lot of things, but actually they can't experience this happiness permanently by expecting or acquiring the material things, right? For example, let's say like this: if you try to earn $1,000 per month, some people may not be satisfied with $1,000. They may try to earn more. They may try to increase their salary more and more. They never be satisfied with $100 per month, right? That is called a strong desire and a strong greed. Because of that, sometimes they run or chase behind many things again and again to get their happiness. It helps to think about the accumulation of wealth, money. Money is made up of numbers, and numbers never end. So we can chase that forever if we are obsessed with how much is in our bank account, right? What do you usually do, the people? When they have $50,000 of their bank account, what they want to do, they want to deposit more and more. They want to earn more and more. The numbers are just numbers, never end. They want to increase like 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, 50,000, right? In this way, they want to deposit more and more. Their satisfaction never be completed, never be fulfilled. They still lack of happiness. They accumulating and acquiring a lot of things, but actually they can't gain the real happiness that they were expecting to get. When we believe that our fulfillment is dependent on what we have, then we come to realize that we don't really get the same satisfactions we were expecting. We always want more. Greed can affect our relationship, our jobs, and everything else, right? People always chasing behind many things in order to bring their happiness. Actually, when you receive the things, then you still think that, for example, let's say like this, when the iPhone 11 comes, right, you want to buy it. When you buy it, you may have some sort of happiness, but you still think into iPhone 12 or iPhone 11B or some whatever things will come very soon. So I want to get that one when it comes. So in that way, you have such kind of a strong desire. You will be never satisfied whatever things that you have. So a very good example here to tell you is that you may have heard about the story of Thodeya. I don't have enough time to explain the story. You know, the Thodeya Brahmin was a very greedy person. He did not practice generosity. So one day he was born as a dog in the same house because of the greed, because of greediness or greedy. So greed can also manifest as lack of generosity. The person who has greed, the greedy person will never practice generosity. That is the danger of this greed. So greed affects our personal lives, professional lives, and also domain of international businesses. political, global conflict, warfare, as well as destructions of our precious environment are obvious symptoms of corporate and political greed. Our great craving and thirst affects each of us on a personal and global level. Our greed is an endless and pernicious cycle that brings suffering and unhappiness in its wake. You may have seen lots of religious wars and also lots of political wars, conflicts in the world. All are these due to greed for power, greed for material things, greed for wealth, greed for property. All those, because of this greed, the people create lots of conflicts in this world. This is all about greed. Let's move on to next one. The hatred. Hatred is our anger, aversion towards the things that we don't want, whether that be unpleasant people, circumstance, or even towards ourselves. It can manifest as anger, but also as impatience, ill will, annoyance, and hostility. So people usually get anger or get hatred. They become hateful people. Why? Because of the things that they experience, the things that they don't like. They experience things that they don't like, right? For example, if the weather is too cold, so you don't like it, right? Then you become very frustrated, you anger, right? And also, when the weather is too hot, also you don't like it, so you get angry. So usually the environments and some people, some circumstance make us something that we don't like, make us get angry. We habitually resist and avoid feelings, circumstance, and people that we don't like. We really want everything in our lives to be pleasant. Hatred put us in a cycle of always finding something wrong, right? So everybody wants everything to be perfect and pleasant, but that perfectness or that kind of completeness we can't find in this world, right? So we can't always base on 100% corrected things to be happen in this world. So that's why we get angry or hatred always. When we are carrying hatred, our minds are frantic. We can't be calm. We have a very easy time to get obsessed with whatever conflicts we are in. We can also have conflict within ourselves and hatred for our own feelings that we don't like. With hatred, we create enemies out of these around us and also out of ourselves. So what does hatred does? What is the job of hatred? Hateful mind always create lots of negative thoughts. Because of that negativity, people create lots of conflicts between them and between many people in this world. Therefore, hatred is not really good. Yeah, let's move on to the next slide, please. The next one is delusion, moha. Delusion is our wrong understanding, wrong views of reality. Delusion is our misperception of the way the world works, our inability to understand the nature of the things exactly as they are. Delusion means we do not have proper understanding of the things, right? We do not have proper understanding about the nature of the things, reality, about the Four Noble Truth, the result of good and the result of actions of the result of good and bad actions. So that is called delusion. Influenced by delusion, we do not live in accordance with the Dhamma. Affected by poison of delusion, we do not understand the true and impermanent nature of life. We don't believe karma and its result. We don't believe rebirth, and we don't believe result of practicing of generosity. So that is the nature of delusion. If you have very diluted mind, that diluted mind may not be ready to accept the true nature of the things. The deluded person never believe the result of giving, the result of practicing generosity, the result of good actions and the result of bad actions, and they do not believe the future births also. That is the nature of deluded person. Thus, we are constantly looking for outside ourselves for happiness, satisfaction, and solution to our problems. This outward searching creates even more frustration, anger, and delusion. Because of our delusion, we also do not understand the virtuous, life-affirming actions that create happiness, nor do we understand the non-virtuous, negative, and unwholesome actions that create the suffering. So the deluded person, deluded mind, never think about the positive sides of the things. They never understand the negative side of the things, right? For example, they do not understand the differentiation between wholesome actions and unwholesome actions. That is the danger of this delusion. So let's move on to the next. Very good, very lucky. We are very lucky. We have some antidotes, some medicines to take in order to overcome these unwholesome roots. In addition to practice meditation, there are also antidotes or alternatives to three poisons. For every defilement, the Buddha has given us the antidote, the method where we eliminate unwholesome mental attitudes and replace them with virtuous, wholesome attitudes which benefits ourselves and others. Therefore, entire aim of spiritual practice is to gradually subdue the poisons of greed, hatred, and delusion by cultivating the alternative mental factors that directly oppose to them. These antidotes are called three wholesome roots: non-greed, non-hatred, and non-delusion. These are the wholesome roots that you need to develop. Yeah. For example, to antidote to overcome greed, we can cultivate selflessness, generosity, detachment, and contentment. Children, you can practice generosity. You can help needy people. You can practice giving dana to the community of monks and to the needy people. That is the best way to overcome greed. Let's move on to the next slide, please. Yeah, the next to antidote to moha, dosa. Yeah, dosa, hatred. What is the good remedy or good method to overcome hatred? That is a spread of loving kindness. If you can practice loving kindness meditation for everyone, those who are around to you, those who are not around to you, actually you can overcome this hatred, right? That is the only way that people can practice this dosa or hatred, by practicing compassion, by practicing patience, and by practicing loving kindness meditation. So that will help you to overcome hatred and also to create the inner peace in yourself. Yeah, let's move on to the next slide, please. Yeah, the last one is antidote to overcome moha. To overcome moha or delusion, the best way to overcome our delusion is listening to the teachings of the Buddha. The more you listen to the teachings of the Buddha, the more you learn the teachings of the Buddha, the greater result that you experience. And your moha, your delusion will gradually disappear by listening or practicing the teachings of the Buddha. Right? As we develop clear understanding of karma, knowing the positive, wholesome actions that bring happiness, and the negative, unwholesome actions that bring suffering. So if you have such kind of better understanding of the things, actually that will give you the good and clear picture to understand or eradicate delusion, right? So always try to develop yourself in order to understand the true nature of the things and the positive, the result of wholesome activities and also the result of unwholesome activities. Try to have such kind of understanding. That kind of understanding may help you to give a proper understanding, also to overcome moha, delusion. In conclusion, I would like to give you a good message to think about. By understanding the Dhamma and applying the teaching properly in our lives, we will gradually wear away even the most stubborn habitual behaviors. Finally, liberating ourselves from stress, happiness, and suffering. The Buddha calls this the stainless liberation of mind, the sublime peace, wisdom, timeless, limitless awareness, unity and bliss of Nibbana, Nirvana shines forth as our essential nature when the three poisons of greed, hatred, and delusion have finally extinguished. So, people, students, children, what you need to do is the Buddha has clearly emphasized that if you need to have peaceful happiness life or mind, what you need to do is that you need to extinguish these three unwholesome roots, lobha, dosa, and moha. Then you can have peaceful life actually. The Buddha said that ragakyo, dosakyo, mohakyo, nibbhananti. Those people who eradicate lobha, dvesa, moha, greed, hatred, delusion permanently, that person may be able to experience the final goal of nibbana. That is what we need to do, children. Therefore, you try to. What you need to do is that you need to learn the teachings of the Buddha more often, and you need to practice them more often, and you need to listen and learn the teachings of the Buddha more often as much as you can. I wish you all the best. If you have any questions later on, please try to ask questions later on. I will be happy to answer, and I will be ready to answer to those questions if you have. This is a long topic actually, and 15 minutes may not be sufficient enough to talk all things in details, but I try my best. Maybe I may have taken some more time. So it doesn't matter, I had to say all the things. So I pass to you, Dilini teacher. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Venerable Shantha Vimalathero, for a very engaging and useful talk during our session today. So students, it was great how the Swami Vahanse was able to tell us about the three roots and how they don't bring us good results. But there was also a very good message about how to overcome these in very practical ways that we can apply to our lives. Our next speaker is Nirasha. She is a star student and someone who behaves according to the Dhamma. She is a great example for us all. Nirasha will be giving us a presentation on a prince who wasn't able to take criticisms for his wrongdoing very well. But I'll let Nirasha tell you the whole tale. Okay, over to you, Nirasha.
Thank you, Dilini teacher. Dhamma Sarana, venerable monks, teachers, parents, students, and other listeners. I am Nirasha Kumara Perama, a Year 9 student from the Dhamma Sarana Sunday School. I was given the privilege to explain to you all about the Thilamurti Jataka. Let us share some slides. I think you all know about Jataka stories. They are about Lord Buddha's previous lives. Thilamurti Jataka is an interesting one, and there is a lesson you can learn from it, so please listen attentively. The Lord Buddha was staying in the Jetavana temple. It was in the city of Savatthi. There was a bhikkhu who had a short temper. He would get irritated with others for the smallest things. The other bhikkhus, realizing the consequences of anger, informed the Lord Buddha about this bhikkhu. Then, the Lord Buddha requested the bhikkhus to bring this short-tempered bhikkhu to him. Once the bhikkhu came, the Lord Buddha asked him if it was true that he got irritated very easily. The bhikkhu then admitted his weakness. The Lord Buddha then explained to the other bhikkhus that this bhikkhu used to get angry very easily in his previous lives as well. After hearing this, the other bhikkhus requested the Lord Buddha to tell the Jataka story involving this short-tempered bhikkhu. Then the Lord Buddha preached the Thilamurti Jataka. Once upon a time, King Brahmadatta of Varanasi in the kingdom of Kasi had a son. The son's name was also Brahmadatta. The young prince was sent by the king to study and learn from the famous teacher Disa Pamok of Takshila. After arriving at the school in Takshila, Prince Brahmadatta worshipped the teacher and offered the gifts that the king had sent. Afterwards, the prince requested the teacher to coach and teach him the required skills to become a knowledgeable and accomplished king. The custom at the time was that students lived with their teacher and helped him with the household chores, so the young prince did the same. One day, the teacher decided to take his students to the nearby lake to bathe. While walking to the lake, the teacher walked in front, with the students behind following him. On the way, they passed an old woman who had washed sesame seeds and laid them on a mat to dry them in the sun. As Prince Brahmadatta walked past the mat, he grabbed a handful of sesame seeds and put them in his mouth, without the old woman's permission. Even though the old woman saw what the prince did, she didn't say anything, as she thought he was just doing a childish thing. Again, on the second day, the young prince stole some sesame seeds and ate them, but the old woman just ignored it. However, on the third day, when the old woman saw the prince steal some sesame seeds, she was furious and thought to herself that if she doesn't say anything to the boy now, he will continue to steal her sesame seeds, and then she will run out of them. So she yelled at the teacher and asked him, "Teacher, why are you allowing your students to steal my sesame seeds like this?" The teacher was very surprised to hear the woman's complaint, as he did not know what the prince had done, and asked, "Why, ma'am, what's the matter?" The old woman then said, "Sir, that student of yours stole my sesame seeds 3 days in a row. If he continues to do so, I will run out of sesame seeds." She pointed to Prince Brahmadatta. The teacher immediately apologized for the young prince's actions and offered to pay for her loss, but the woman refused the offer. She told the teacher, "Sir, I don't want any payment. What I wanted was for the boy to be punished for his actions so that he will never steal anything again." The teacher agreed and caned the young prince and punished him for stealing. It was a usual custom to punish misbehaving students with a cane in those days. Although Prince Brahmadatta knew that what he had done was wrong and that he deserved the punishment, he was still angry at the teacher for hitting him with the bamboo stick and was determined from that day that he would take revenge on his teacher and murder him. With a bloodshot glare, the prince eyed the teacher from head to foot. The teacher observed how angry the prince was and how he eyed him. Although the teacher Disapama knew that Prince Brahmadatta held a grudge with him, he still taught him all of the necessary skills. After the prince completed all of his studies, he left his teacher and returned to his kingdom. King Brahmadatta realized that his son had mastered all of the necessary skills and handed over the throne to the young prince. Soon after the young prince became the king, he thought that now was his perfect chance to take revenge on his teacher. So he sent messengers to the teacher, Disapama, to invite him to visit the palace. After receiving the message, the teacher immediately realized that the young king was preparing to take revenge, but he still accepted the invitation and visited the king. As soon as the teacher arrived at the palace, the king ordered his guards to take the teacher away and kill him. The king was saying, "This old man hit me with a bamboo stick when I was his student. Now that I am the king, I want to take revenge." After hearing this, the teacher spoke up and said to the king, "Your Majesty, if I did not punish you then for stealing the old woman's sesame seeds, you would have gone on to stealing from others. If you continued stealing, you could have become a highway robber and maybe could have even been murdered by someone as a punishment. As a result, you would not have lived to become the king today." The king's advisor understood what the teacher was saying and told the king, "Your Majesty, your teacher is right. You should be grateful that he punished you as that life lesson made you a better person today. The king thought about what the teacher and advisor said and then realized his mistake. He bowed down to the teacher and asked for forgiveness. He then offered the teacher many gifts and asked him to become his chief advisor, called Purohita back in those days. After telling the Jasaka story, the Lord Buddha told the bhikkhus that the young King Brahmadatta was the short-tempered bhikkhu in the present life, and the teacher was none other than the Lord Buddha. After listening to the Jasaka story, the bhikkhu attained the stage of anagami. The Tilamurti Jasaka teaches us that we should not get annoyed at someone for correcting our mistake, but instead look at it in a positive way and be grateful for the advice. Most of us have made mistakes in our lives and have most likely been corrected or punished for the misdeed. After being punished, we usually feel angry or annoyed with the person who has corrected us. We must then realize that this wise person is saying this for our own good, and we must understand that we do not need to feel embarrassed for making the mistake, but instead, we should be grateful to have learnt this lesson at a younger age so we can become a better person in the future. That is the end of my slides. Thank you to everyone who has made this live session possible and for giving me the opportunity to teach my brothers and sisters about the Dhamma. I would also like to thank all of the Venerable Monk and all of my past Sunday school teachers who have given me my present knowledge about the Dhamma. Thank you for listening, and may the Triple Gem bless you all. Over to you, Dilini teacher.
Thank you, Nirasha. It is such a great skill to be able to accept your wrongdoing and learn from your mistakes, putting your pride and revenge aside and seeing the progress that you can make in your life. Well done, my students. Now let's answer some of your questions. Firstly, I have 2 questions for Venerable Shanta Vimala Thero. First question, Hamudruane, is what other things do people have greed about other than food? That question again, what other things do people have greed about other than food? Over to you, Swami Nuhanse.
Thank you, Dilini teacher. It's a very good, smart question. Thank you for the student who asked that question. Actually, people in this world, they greed for many things, not only food, right? Especially for electronic gadgets nowadays, you can see that people are very addicted to electronic gadgets. For example, new arrival mobile phones, iPads, computers, and also for games, especially people are addicted, greedy for games, right? So they can spend hours and hours without sleeping by just playing games, right? They want to defeat their opponents and they want to win. So these are some kind of greed. So that's why people greed for money, right? Recently, I watched a very good the short video. That video tells the process of desire of people. For example, the person who goes to work by using public transport, right? He thinks that when I take public transport, he thinks, by looking at the person who ride on bicycle, he thinks that if I can afford money to buy bicycle, then one day he was able to afford some money to buy bicycle, and then he started to go to work using bicycle. So when he going to work using bicycle, he thinks that what if I can afford to buy some second-hand car, right? Just spend some money to buy a second-hand car. Then gradually he was able to buy a second-hand car. And then he started going to work by using his second-hand car. When he has a second-hand car, he thinks that what if I can offer some money to buy an expensive car, right? Like Mercedes-Benz or BMW or Volkswagen and so on. So gradually he was able to take that kind of expensive car to go to work. And then when he travels or when he goes to work by that expensive car, he thinks that how if I can afford money to buy like a sport car, Lamborghini, Ferrari, right? So all sorts of expensive, the sports car. He thinks in that way. Then gradually maybe he was able to buy a sport car. Then what after then he thought that how if I can afford some money to buy a helicopter, right? By helicopter, and then he may think that I can go to work using my own helicopter. And gradually somehow he was able to buy a helicopter, and at the end then he thought again, how if I could afford some money to buy a private jet. So in this way, what I want to tell is that, my dear children, our greed, our desire will never end. The desire will never end. We chase behind things again and again. We chase chase about many things, right? We always try to acquire many things without thinking that it is good enough for us, right? There is no endless for our desire. There is no limit for our desire. That's why I want to tell you that this desire has no end, right? Therefore, Lord Buddha emphasized us to please understand the danger of desire, right? That's why the people greed for lots of things, material things, electronic things, and all those things. People greed for things, not only food, right? So I think I answered the questions properly and correctly. Over to you, Dilini teacher.
Thank you, Swamin Vahanse, for a very informative answer to that good question. Just one more for you, Hamadrone. Why was Thodeya born as a king if he was going to be very greedy? So that question one more time. Why was Thodeya born as a king if he was going to be very greedy? Over to Swami Vahanse.
Thank you, Dilin teacher, once again. Actually, I want to correct something. That questions is not a correct one. Thodeya was not born as a king. In Chullakamma Vibhanga Sutta, if I am not wrong, I think in the Majjhima Nikaya, Middle and Discourses of the Buddha, it explains that the Thodeya is the father of son Subba. Thodeya was a very greedy person, and he had a strong desire to his own wealth, right? He did not want anybody to come to his home. He did not want to spend any single amount of money to his son. So in that way, he had a strong desire to his wealth. As a result of that strong desire, he died and he was reborn again as a dog in that family. He was not born as a king in any in that particular time of birth. He was born as a dog. Yeah, I hope I answered the question. Over to you, Dilini teacher.
Thank you, Swamin Vahanse, for that correction and that answer. I now have a question for Nirasha. Is it acceptable to use caning as a punishment? That question again. Is it acceptable to use caning as a punishment? Over to you, Nirasha.
Thank you, Dilini teacher. In different times of history, different punishments were used. Therefore, we cannot say which type is right or wrong. Instead, we should look at what the objective of the punishment was. In this story, the teacher wanted to correct the prince so he is on the correct path to become a future king. Over to you, Dilini teacher.
Thank you, Nirasha, for focusing on the important part of the story there. Thank you to everybody for your attention. The next Zoom online class for our Prep to Grade 4 students will be next week, which is the 30th of August. Remember, these run every fortnight. The next online presentation for our older students will be on the 6th of September. There's going to be a meeting tonight for the parents of the Prep to Grade 4 students to resolve problems with logging into the Zoom classes. Information that you need to join this meeting will be in your emails. Remember that every night you can all get together at 7:30 for the live Buddha Puja and Pirith chanting on YouTube. We couldn't bring you Pirith chanting or Sunday school lessons during lockdown if it wasn't for our valuable and highly skilled live stream team. Thank you. Thanks to the speakers for your preparation and delivery of this valuable resource. And thanks again to our parents and students for making your time available. I hope everyone's learned something new today. May you all be safe and healthy during this uncertain time. And I can't wait to see you for our normal classes. I will now respectfully invite the Venerable Shanta Vimalathero to conduct the sharing of merits. Dhamma Sarana. Avasarai Swamin Vahanse.
Thank you, Dillian teacher. Thank you, everyone. Let's concentrate our mind to transfer and share merits with the divine beings and celestial beings. Usually nowadays we really need the protections from the divine being and celestial being. So let's give them some merits. Let's share the merits with all those divine beings and celestial beings. You have accumulated lots of merits today by taking part of this Dhamma sharing activity. So by having done such kind of great activity, you have accumulated lots of merits. So think about that, all the good merits we accumulated just now be upon all the deities and divine beings. May they be able to receive our good merits, and having rejoiced and having taken part of our good merits, may all divine beings be able to enhance their celestial life, and may all divine beings be able to develop their divine qualities further and further, and in return may all celestial beings be able to extend their protection and guidance towards all the living beings in this world. And having done that, may all celestial beings also be able to attain the final goal of Nibbana. Wishing that, we recite these stanzas together. Akasattha ca Bhummattha Deva Naga Mahiddhika Punyantang Anumoditva Chiran Rakkantu Sasanang. Akasattha ca Bhummattha Deva Naga Mahiddhika Punyantang Anumoditva Chiran Rakkantu Desanang. Akasattha ca Bhummattha Deva Naga Mahiddhika Punyantang Anumoditva Chiran Rakkantu Tvang Sadha. And I wish you all the best, and I have an announcement for you also. My English Dhamma talk will be on the 5th of September next month from 5:30 to 6:30. Please join that also. It is telecasted by Temple's YouTube channel. It is on YouTube. Please join for that. Wish you all the best, good luck, and happy days.